You act like you're about to complain about sitting down talking about guns for 30 minutes.
Alright, let's talk about guns for 30 minutes then. What's up, guys? Welcome back to our podcast. This is number 16. We just counted, because we messed up. Anyway, but this is podcast number 16. We do have kind of some pre-scripted topics, so we shouldn't be rambling too much. We might be rambling. I'll definitely be rambling. But should be a good podcast.
Trying to keep it fast-paced now, because we had one really, really bad one, and we realized, at least if we're going to do this, we need to keep it moving, have an idea of what we're going to talk about, and not ramble on the same thing for too long.
Yeah, so hopefully this podcast I don't think will be too long. Just knowing the topics we have, I don't think it'll be very long at all.
You also say that every podcast. You're like, this one's going to be 20. The last one you specifically said 20 minutes, no more than 30.
What was the last one?
As an hour. Thermals and night vision.
Oh, that was a good one though. Alright, well, we don't know how long this will get into, but the topic is very short, sweet, and to the point. Today we are going to be talking about AR-15s and AR-10s and their likeness. Alright, so
he's Elliot Delp, if you're listening to this for the first time.
I wasn't going to say that.
I think we should introduce ourselves every time. What if we get a new viewer?
Well, the chances are pretty good since we have like 10 right now.
Exactly, so they're probably new.
Okay.
So he's Elliot Delp, I'm Hunter Collins. We make YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook. We do it all. So go check out our stuff. We'll be linked below. We just love the outdoors.
Right. So let's get right into it. Crap, we just did what we were supposed to do. Hunter, do you have anything to say to me first to start out the podcast?
No, I was going to ask you how your week was.
Oh, my week was good. No, it wasn't. I worked a lot.
Because we're talking about what?
We're talking about guns.
Well, we're talking about specifically what? What's the podcast topic?
I didn't really know. I just want to talk about
You told me ARs earlier. So
yeah.
The topic today is ARs for the most part.
So we could get political.
It's good. How was your week?
It was stressful.
Did you shoot any guns?
Yes, I did.
Did you shoot any ARs?
No, I didn't shoot any ARs.
Why not? Are they not good?
No, I didn't shoot any ARs because I ran out of time. I filmed 4 videos yesterday. 2 on pistols, 1 on a Vortex scope, and 1 on the Ruger precision rifle. I was going to shoot ARs, but I ran out of time. I was flying the drone and just messing around. But yeah, so earlier this week, we were in Virginia. We had a bad rain, and we also had a bill come down the line in the House of Delegates Public Safety Committee, potentially outlawing the sale and importation and all that good stuff, not ownership, of AR-15s and assault weapons, right? So we were going to have Jared on this podcast. And
he flaked on us.
He flaked. We called him 5 minutes ago. It's currently 9 o'clock, and he's in bed asleep. And he wakes up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. He's not even that big. He's not even on the grind.
No.
He's not even on the grind.
We wake up at 4 o'clock, so
yep.
Currently.
Mm-hmm. As of last week. But still, we're waking up. Anyway, and we were going to talk about legal ramifications and what he thought of the proposed bill. So there's still a ton of steps that this bill has to go through, but it's a really impactful bill if it went through unchanged as it was right now. I mean, it wouldn't affect us. I mean, it would affect us if we ever planned on buying anything else, right? But it wouldn't affect us as we sit here today. So if the bill got passed, we wouldn't have to register anything or do anything. But it's basically banning any future ownership of AR-15s or like assault rifles. Like, I hate using assault rifles because I know
Armalite rifles.
No. The gun community hates the term assault rifle. And I don't really understand why they hate the term assault. I mean,
because everybody associates assault rifle with bad.
Yeah, well, that's true, but
so they're labeling a gun that's not used for. You don't use it for assault. No. Like the military, rightfully so, can use an AR for assault.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't use it for assault. So why would you call it that? You know?
Fair.
Like, because it gives it a bad rap. So, in my eyes, the gun community doesn't want to use something you use for fun or for competition or whatever as an assault. That's not what it's used for.
But I also think the coined word assault weapon, I feel like an AR-15 is an assault rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is. Like, that's what it is. But I don't know. I feel like it's a good, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on past that point because I have a hard time explaining it, and I don't really know why I feel the way I do about the words. But I feel like it is an assault rifle. It is a semi-automatic rifle that can hold 30-round magazine if it wanted to, and it's not used for war. The fully automatic version's used for war, but if I had to defend myself, I would really like to have that over something else. You know,
it's not used for war.
No.
So, like, the soldiers in Afghanistan don't have ARs or SCARs right now or something like that?
Yeah, but they have full auto versions.
Do they?
Yeah.
Really? Every single one of them?
Every single one of them. They got 3 little switches. They got the safety, they got the fire, and they got the fun switch.
Oh, so it's still an AR, but it has full auto capabilities.
Right.
Oh, okay. But they probably don't use that all the time.
No, I doubt. I don't know.
I've never used it.
I probably never went to war. I have never went to war, but I couldn't imagine shooting a gun full auto and having any amount of control with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we shoot guns fast and semi-automatic, and it's just like.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And the reason he said the thing about Jared is because, for those of you who don't know, Jared's in law school right now. He graduated as a political science major, huge into politics, and I don't want to say we have completely opposite views, but Jared definitely looks at stuff a different way, and he's also very good at arguing whichever perspective he wants. Because I know that's what he's told us before in law school. They'll be like, argue why this is bad, and then as soon as he makes his case, they're like, all right, you have a week, study, now argue why it's good. So he's very good at the political part, knows what the bills mean, knows how everything works, and he also can like give a different view or argue a different way. But unfortunately, he's in bed.
Asleep.
So
we won't be able to really go over that. But
we'll hit it, but we'll hit it right now. Let's just go ahead and get that over with. But later on, we'll get more into like why we like them or which we prefer and all of that. So talk a little more, Elliot. What you do know about the bill, other than what you just said. What do you mean it doesn't hurt us? Like, does the bill ban 30-round mags? If I have one,
actually,
can I use it?
You're right. I forgot.
So it still hurts us.
So the first part of the bill, I guess, I haven't read through the first part as well as I've read through the second part. Because the first part includes, like, things involving crimes. Like, I think it's strict. It makes it harder for people that have committed crimes to not own them, and it also makes it harder for younger people to not own them.
Okay. Makes it easier for them to not own them. Harder for them to own them.
Harder for them to. Yeah, I might have said that completely wrong. But the first part of the bill, I don't want to say can be looked over, but if you're a law-abiding citizen and you're over the age of 21, you can look over it. You know what I'm saying? And as you go down the list, the first thing, I don't know if it's first or second, but one of the main topics is they've changed their position on high-capacity magazines. So this bill says no high-capacity magazines. Anything over 12, nope.
Which, also, just to preface everything we're about to say, this is not fake Facebook news. It's not something you read. None of this is in order. None of this will be in order when this podcast comes out. And probably anytime you're watching this, it's probably something completely different. This is, explain real quick, it's a bill that passed what?
It passed the Public Safety Committee.
And just roughly how many more things that have to go through before that?
That is the first step before it even makes it to the House of Delegates floor.
And then it's got to go somewhere else, right?
Right. So if it passes the House of Delegates, which there's a pretty decent chance it could do that because there's a lot more more people in favor of it there than there is in the Senate. So once it goes there, it'll go to the Senate, and I think it has to go through committee in the Senate too, which is like a little subgroup of senators. And then if it makes it through the committee, I might be wrong on that, but then it goes to the Senate floor, gets voted on at the Senate floor, and then we'll go to the governor or another small committee. I watched a few videos on how our judicial system works, and it was like sometimes when there's a highly debated bill, it goes after it passes both houses, it goes to like a small group of both houses, and they discuss the bill and like change it even further if it's a very controversial bill, and then it'll go to the governor, or sometimes it just goes to the governor.
Right. So basically, the whole point we're trying to say right now is this is not something to believe, or I mean, you like everybody's got their personal. You can get scared of it or whatever, but it's not something that's in effect, and it's not something that will directly be in effect. And the chances of this going through flawlessly without anything changing is probably not very good. So,
but
it's talked about because it's in the works.
And it's something like to be scared of.
Right. When something like this is in the works, it just shows that there are people out there trying to put these things into place, which whatever you believe, that means that's what's happening. So regardless if this makes it through or not, that probably shows there's a good chance that something else will happen like it in the future.
Yeah.
So we just want to preface to say, like we're not those people on Facebook like, hey, ban guns. Watch out, everybody! It went to the Public Safety Committee. They're going to come to your house and raid. No, disclaimer. This is not official yet. We're hypothetical, but it did pass the Public Safety Committee, right?
Yep.
So back to that long disclaimer. We were talking about high capacity magazines.
Yeah. So
12, right?
They said 12.
Now you tell me how they got that. What 2 magazines can you buy?
You can buy.
Can you buy more?
No, you can buy 4 different magazines. You can buy 5, 10, 20, 30.
A drum.
And then you got a drum. And what's the drum? I don't even know.
Use 60.
There's a 60
I
drum.
don't know if you can
get
buy
a bigger
like
one?
100. You might be able to buy. Somebody told me that one time, but
there's 4 common magazines that you don't have to spend $100 on.
Right.
All right. Where does 12 lie within that?
You have to buy 20 or 30 and only put 12 in it?
No, you can't buy. You can't have the ability to hold.
So you have to buy 10.
Yeah.
So 12 makes no sense.
But I think I've heard, and I didn't read this, that the magazine thing also goes for pistols too.
Okay.
So if the bill also goes for pistols,
that would make kind of sense.
Yeah, because pistols have a ton of different weird magazines. I mean, they got 6, they got 7, they got 8.
12, 17,
15.
3.
Yeah, random. So if it applies to pistols as well, it makes sense. Because I know I have read bills where it's like, if the magazine is inserted into the pistol grip, then it can have however many. But if it's inserted into the legal words for whatever the lower receiver is, you can't have it. So I don't know how that works.
Huh.
But still, completely idiotic. No reason, like, I don't understand how they got 12. Like, who was fighting for those extra 2? I mean, for the person that was fighting for those extra 2 bullets,
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
But why?
But why?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So that's weird, and that one actually would affect us. Of course, it affects most people that have AR-15. Like,
so if it goes through, I can no longer use my 30-round clip.
No, you're no longer allowed to own your 30-round clip. You have to throw it away.
What do I do with it?
Throw it away.
Like I can't even have it.
No, you can't even own it. Like, you cannot have it in your possession.
But I thought you said earlier this stuff wouldn't affect us if we already owned it.
I forgot about the mag thing. Do I
have to throw my AR-15 away?
No. I'm getting to that. So, before this bill went into committee, there was a ton of stuff that was in it. You couldn't own an AR-15 unless you already owned it before the bill passed and you registered it with the Virginia State Police. You weren't allowed to own a suppressor. Even if you had a suppressor, you had to throw it away. Same thing for a trigger activator. I don't even know what a trigger activator is. It has its own section in the law. And I read through it and I was just like, What? But anyway, and before the committee started, the Democrats put in a substitution, and it got rid of us having to register it with the state police, the AR-15, and it got rid of anything other than the magazine thing, saying that if you already own a suppressor AR-15, suppressor AR-15, if you already own those, you get to keep them. You don't have to register them, but you can't sell them to anybody. Like, I couldn't sell mine to you. And that's just basically it.
So here's a question. I don't know if you know the answer to it or not. Can you go to Tennessee and sell me your gun?
I don't know.
We crossed the border. We're in Bristol. I'm a Tennessee resident. Can you just sell me your AR?
If you're a Tennessee resident, yeah.
But you're not. You're a Virginia resident. You just crossed the border with it.
Yeah, I crossed the border getting out of the state with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could sell it to you. But you couldn't cross the border
To come buy it.
Yeah, I think that's how it worked. And you also couldn't buy it in Tennessee and bring it because the law says you can't import it. Man, that would kill all kinds of businesses in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds.
Yep.
Like Safe Side Tactical would just be screwed.
Mm-hmm. A lot of places would.
Dang.
But it's not just like a personal thing. Like, economically, that would hurt a lot too.
Yeah. What were you telling me about gun sales and ammo sales and
So what?
Virginia wildlife?
What a lot of people don't know, I believe it's called the Pittman-Robertson Act. It's either that or like the Lacey Act or something. I believe it's the Pittman-Robertson though. But it's like, hold up, I'm gonna Google it real quick to get the exact numbers because I'm gonna be wrong. But a certain percentage of like all ammo, like everything you buy, goes to like conservation. All right, it's
Oh, that was a long time ago.
yeah, it was like
1973.
37, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, Franklin Roosevelt. I'm looking for the exact number.
Got that completely backwards. I'm dyslexic. 7337. Holy crap.
Where does it tell the percentage?
11. Wait.
Mm,
Act took
Yeah.
over a pre-existing 11 excess tax on firearms instead of
Right.
the U.S. Treasury it had done in the past. It now got.
okay. I can't, we'd have to do more research and I don't want to pause the podcast, but it basically, it's somewhere between like 10 and 30%, I'm pretty sure. But basically, anytime you buy like ammunition, guns, hunting supplies, all that has a certain tax on it from this act that goes back into conservation towards the wildlife. So, taking away those sales could, I mean, it's not going to devastate it, but it will definitely hurt it. Now, if this occurred in every state, it would definitely hurt.
Alright.
But I mean, it's not going to make or break.
I mean, think about.
Who was it that works at? Somebody works at Rural King told us they sold 4,000 guns.
Oh,
Davin. 4,000 guns in one store in Whitfield over the 2019 calendar year, and like 500 of them were in the past month.
Right. Well,
Like that's
when
that's
the new
insane.
government took into place, that kind of scared everybody, and Rural King said, "Let's have a sale."
Mm-hmm. So they played it, but that's another thing a lot of people don't think about is not only is this isn't just making rednecks mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot bigger picture. I mean, there's people who do this for a living. Like there's literally people out there that competition shoot, and that's their life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that ban happened, like you couldn't do that anymore in Virginia.
Think about the Isaac Walton League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they shoot competition all the time.
Yeah, they couldn't do that anymore because those magazines. He told us if we came next time, it needed to have what, 20?
No, 15.
No, not 10, 15. Sorry, 12.
Sorry, kid.
So, I mean, and then also back to the conservation thing, it would hurt those funds. once again, I mean, it would hurt, but I mean, it wouldn't shatter the whole ecosystem. But think if every single, because once again, we live in Virginia. We're currently talking about Virginia, if you didn't know that already. But imagine if every state did that.
Imagine if Texas did it.
Like, that just blows my mind.
Right.
But kind of moving on from that, how can they undo a bill ever?
Yeah, they ain't undo a bill.
So the chances, but like, say they pass this, right?
Right.
AR is gone. Just say that's what happens. As simple as said, AR is gone. New people come in next term. Can they say AR is back?
I don't know
Is it
how.
that, like, I don't know if you know.
See, that'd be.
That's why we need Jared.
Because I don't know how you repeal a bill in Virginia. I don't know if it's as simple as the Senate and the House have to agree and it's gone or out. I don't know if the governor has to like sign off on it. Because you know our governor wouldn't sign off on it.
Right. So then let me ask you a personal question, and then if we have anything else, we'll kind of wrap up the political part of it and move into the difference in ARs. Passes, hypothetically. What are you doing? Are you against moving to another state? Are you going to become a better gun activist? Or are you just going to throw your stuff away?
Right now, if it passes, as it stands right now, we'll know if it passes probably by March.
Mm-hmm.
That'll give us 3 months for the July 1st implementation date.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? So, I have more guns I want. I don't have an AR-10. I want an AR-10. So, I'm probably going to buy an AR-10.
Okay.
I want a 300 blackout pistol. I'll probably buy a 300 blackout pistol. What I would do is I would just get the things that are feasible and that I want the most. I can't, like, we wouldn't be able to get a suppressor.
Right.
And that's been on our bucket list.
Because it takes so long.
Yeah, it takes at least 6 months.
Mm-hmm. At the very least.
So, but I would definitely get an AR. My priorities would be an AR-10, and then.
So, but would you ever actually consider moving out of the state?
If it got to the point where it was like
you couldn't shoot your AR anymore. You had to throw it. Like you told me about the clips, you had to throw it away.
See, if it got to the point where it's like in New York. New York's pretty awful.
But you would consider moving to a different state just for that purpose?
Yeah.
Is there any, do you know if there's any like, can I buy a house in Tennessee and lock my guns in it and live here?
I'm sure you can do that.
Right?
Well, the first bill that said it was like you either move your guns out or you ditch them. So I'm sure you could do that. I'm sure you could buy a shack in Tennessee. Of course, I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't mind living in Tennessee. I like Tennessee. I like down towards the Bristol area. I could live there.
Chickamauga Lake. That was beautiful. When we took that, didn't we had to take a back road back or something, didn't we?
Yeah. Tennessee's, I feel like Tennessee's very much like Virginia.
Used to be Virginia.
Yeah, well, used to be Virginia. Tennessee's very much
Southwest Virginia.
Southwest Virginia.
Southeast. Shout out to you wherever you are that's not Nova. Or if you live in Nova, no offense, but.
If you live in Nova and you're watching this, we appreciate you.
Thank you, yes.
We're sorry. But I would definitely consider living in Tennessee. Tennessee, Kentucky, like all the Western North Carolina.
You would want to live towards the coast?
No, I like hills.
Okay, there's that.
But I would definitely consider moving. Would I want to move? No. Would it be my very last choice? Yes. Would something crazy would have to happen politically for me to move? Like, it would have to be getting rough. I don't. Borderline.
It's your ARs or you're gone, right?
If they were making me register with the state police all my guns, I think I'd be at the point where I was like, this is not right. So your ARs are more important than anything. So if they said you could have whatever you wanted, you just couldn't have an AR anymore. AR, SK, like those high capacity semi-automatic guns. SK holds 10 rounds.
But what they said you couldn't have it. Hypothetically, is what I'm saying. So basically, you can shoot bolt actions, you can shoot 22s, handguns. You can still have. More or less, ARs are gone. ARs, AKs, SKs, that type of deal. Gone. Virginia says no, Elliot Delp, you will go to jail for 48 years felony. But everything else is still fine. Do whatever you want.
I think
are the ARs your big? Like, is that what's holding?
In my position right now, where I'm so young, I have a degree where I can go anywhere and do anything. I would definitely move right now.
Texas, here we come.
I would move like right now. I don't have a house.
You don't have a pair of boots either.
I know.
I'll have to get those before I go.
I don't have like kids. Right? I think I love guns. All right? It's YouTube and guns, right? I don't want to give that up if I can just drive an hour down the road and live on the other side of Tennessee. I mean, Bristol from
home's an hour and 20 minutes.
Here from home's 40 minutes. I'll drive an extra 20 minutes, doesn't bother me. Tennessee has no state income tax.
That's true.
It's pros all the time, man. Pros all the time. I would move. My position will probably change later on.
That's like they always say. You say whatever you want till the situation happens.
Yeah, right.
And you never really know what you actually do.
Steph and I have talked about it. Like, it's not out of the question. Because, I mean, if they're doing it with guns, what else are they doing what else are they doing? What else are the lawmakers doing? Because it's not just guns. So, I would definitely consider moving, assuming the circumstances were right. Stephanie and I have talked about it. At this current position in our life, but we're not tied down. We're not.
Not to get too into, I guess, personal stuff, but you are kind of looking at a house next year.
Yeah. So.
I mean, or currently.
Right. So.
Is that going?
That's not.
Is that going into factor any though?
No.
But I mean, like when you're looking at a house right now, like does that go through your mind at all? Like maybe we shouldn't do this, or let's specifically look at something we plan to like resell in the next year because we probably don't want to like.
Right.
But does the gun have any factor in that? I mean, you might be saying that for other reasons because that's not your forever home. But like, does that have any factor at all, or do you not really think about that when you're looking at a home with Stephanie?
See, recently, prior to December, politics were the furthest thing from my mind in Virginia. Right?
He's talking about the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and the Boars and Bland.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's exactly what that's the priorities, alright? And
we're just getting the wildlife back.
I know!
They're about to move.
And I want nothing more than to take my 6.5 Grendel and shoot me some pigs in Blaine County, you know what I mean?
No.
You don't want to do that?
No, I don't wish pigs on anyone.
Oh, yeah, well, true. But they're there, so.
Yeah, if they're there, I wish it, but.
But, I mean, politics were the least of my concern. And I think that's probably the biggest problem in today's society and for small places like Southwest Virginia. I mean, we go red here. We never have a problem going red here. But people elsewhere, like along the coast, up into Nova, I think we just don't vote. I mean, we didn't vote this state election. Didn't even think about, like, why would I vote, you know?
Right.
And this election, and I think it's happened, I know it's happened with me. I don't know if it's happened with Hunter, but I hope it's happened with other people, is I need to get in the habit of voting. Because this has scared me. Because guns are very close to me. I really like all my firearms. and I like being able to do whatever I want with them. I don't have to worry. I don't want to have to worry about whether or not it's legal for me to put my gun in my truck and drive it down the road to the farm and get out and shoot and put it back in the truck and drive it back up here. You know, I don't want to have to worry about whether or not that's legal. I don't want to have to worry about whether or not if I get stopped, if I have a freaking 30-round magazine on me that's empty and the gun's unloaded, I don't want that to be a problem. I don't want to
have a felony for that.
Yeah.
6 years in jail.
So it's just something I don't want to have to worry about. I used to not worry as much about it. I used to worry a lot about it when I was younger. Then I kind of quit worrying about it. And now I actually worry about it because the reality of seeing a law on the Virginia Senate or House page that says, you know, it would be a Class 6 felony to have an unregistered firearm. Like, what?
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, back when I read that the beginning of December, it was either late November, beginning of December, that stressed me out a lot. Mainly because I don't want to register my guns. And I don't want to be a felon, you know what I mean? Right. And that puts me in an awful position because, like, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I shouldn't have to have that stress, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's, like, I don't know. So, you know. But, what would you do? What would you do if the law passes exactly like it is right now? What would be the first thing you do, and would you ever consider moving?
See, I don't really think about the ever consider moving part because, like you said, I'm at the point in my life I don't intend on in the next. Once again, you don't have really control over your life. Like anything can happen, but like I don't intend on the next 4 years finding my home here in Southwest Virginia and living the rest. Like the next however many years, I plan to be everywhere as much as I possibly can. Like that's where I'm at in my life right now, and that's what I want to do. So I don't really think about would I move somewhere else because I don't think I'll be in that position. Because 5 years from now, I'm sure this will be a completely different conversation.
Right.
But as far as like what would I do, like if they said no ARs, because I mean everybody knows I have videos on them. Like I do have ARs. Like what would I do with them? I mean if they said I had to register, I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't move because of the registration. Now if they said I couldn't have them, what would I do? I have no clue. Like would I just hide them somewhere and just try not to use them? Like ideally it would be find somewhere to keep them. Like I don't know, maybe we make a connection over the next year with some YouTuber out in Tennessee and he lets us keep our guns at his, like, or maybe we go on a property in Tennessee, like I don't know, or North Carolina or something, not a clue, but I don't think I would consider like moving or calling like hands up when you talk about registration, but when you do talk about like you can't own it. Not like you can't even use it. Like you said earlier about the suppressor, so I was like, what if I just keep it? Or the magazines at 30, I was like, what if I keep it? Like, no, you gotta get rid of it. Then I think I would definitely try, not necessarily to move all my stuff, but to find a way to keep them without, like you said, I don't want to be committing felonies.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm a law-abiding citizen, I don't want to do that. When you put me in that bond, like, what am I supposed to do?
Right. See, I think the biggest problem I have with registration is I feel like registration is the first step to confiscation. Alright? I don't want to think that the government would ever confiscate. Like, that's crazy. If the government ever came and confiscated firearms. But it just makes it that much easier for them to do it if they had a list of everybody and what they had and where, you know? Then I mean, you said it yourself, like, back when we were freshmen in college, they'll never ban ARs.
I don't know if I said ARs.
Yeah, you did.
I said they never ban guns, and I still don't think they'll ever ban guns. But the AR thing, I can definitely see why there's like a movement against it. Do I agree with it? No.
Well,
But like it's not. I don't think it's beyond. And then people's big arguments, the Second Amendment says we have the right, but like the First Amendment says you have the right to speech, but you don't have the right to go in a crowded movie theater and yell fire or gun.
well, okay, but there's also DC. In DC, they tried to pass a law saying they couldn't own a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
And then a case went to the Supreme Court, and it was like, you can't ban commonly owned weapons.
Right.
So, that's
what I'm saying. Like, there's so much like variation. Like you can't really say one way or the other with what the Constitution says. It's really up to who's ever voting on whatever they want.
right.
Like, especially in the times we live in. I guess, at least me personally, I feel like as time has went on, from like even the 1500s, like till the hunt, let's go way back. Like whoever you want to go to, I feel like we've definitely got more communicative. I guess like talking a lot more and subjective in everything we do. Like I feel like in the 50s, if somebody told you to do something, it was done. I guess I'm kind of saying, like I feel like society now wants to like look at things. It's not black and white. It's whatever it wants to be. Honestly, it could be. What if it's gray?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's a shade of white? Does it have to be straight white? No. It could be any shade of white.
Mm-hmm.
Depends which way you're looking at. Depends if the sun's hitting or not. But I feel like I didn't live in those days, but I just like looking back on history, I feel like things were a little more cut and clear versus to now. Like and then technology just messes the way we think about everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it creates that big dilemma of like we can never determine what the Second Amendment means. To be completely honest, like they've been trying to do that for 200 years. Like they're never going to determine what the Second Amendment means. It'll always mean something different to you, to me, and to Jared.
Mm-hmm.
It can mean completely different things to all of us. We'll never think it means the exact same thing.
Right.
So, and that's what's so hard about this. So in my opinion, like the Second Amendment means nothing. The only thing it means is who's ever voting on it.
Right.
It means whatever they want to say it means. And we can't do anything to it. Like, I know Elliot tells me all the time, like, are you not scared? I was like, what can I do? I can vote, which I do. Not like you said, we need to get better about that. But like in big elections, I vote. But like besides voting, the only thing you could do is to start a gun rally and devote your life to it. And every penny you have, every dollar you have, every second of time you have, devote your time to being a gun activist.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, unless you're voting on the bill, you can't do anything.
Right.
So I think it's all very, very subjective. Which sucks, but then again, that's democracy.
Is it?
I mean, my professor was talking about it the other day, and he said that democracy, he was like, government won't run smoothly, is what my professor said. He's like, it just won't. He's like, you want government to run smoothly? He said, we can make it happen. He said, you put a dictator in office and watch how smoothly stuff works. He said, it works exactly how one person wants it to, and there's not a hitch in the string. Goes exactly how they want it to.
You're right.
But, I mean, it's democracy. People are always going to have different opinions. Not everybody's going to be happy. It's the whole point of it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But everybody's happy in Texas.
You're right about that, too. Oh, boy.
I don't know. It's very...
We didn't even... What time is it? Holy crap. We didn't even get...
Should we just say that for a different one?
Yeah, I think we'll save that one for a different one. We can just...
Because we were going to talk about the our personal preferences on like ARs for like shooting and hunting.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that.
We didn't quite get to that.
Of course, I can ramble on forever about all of that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll just call it at this one, guys. Takeaways for me would probably be stay aware.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel comfortable with any gun law that's going out. They should all worry you. But it also, well, it might be the end of the world. Who knows?
Also, like,
Don't do anything stupid. Don't post on Facebook.
Facebook's a bad place. But I mean, seriously, vote.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it is your town mayor's, whatever, go vote. Like,
shoot, that stuff matters.
like like most people have a core set of values, and like you don't have to party vote or whatever. Like you can find a slip of paper somewhere. Like no matter who you're voting, you slip of paper on the internet or something that tells this person's like top 10 core beliefs and what they believe on like the hottest subjects, and then what this person, exact same views on the hottest subjects. Like you don't have to deep dive and watch politics and live in it, have a political science. Like you don't have to have all that to vote. And I know, not to get like, I don't want to say one-sided about this, but I mean this is just stats. But after Trump got elected, I had never seen so many, like, I guess Democratic people say, let's get out and vote this next, like, let's vote, let's vote, let's vote. And I mean, just advertisements on TV and everything, you know, big celebrities that, you know, follow the Democratic Party, they were like putting stuff out about how important it is to vote, you know, putting out stuff so people can get registered. And no matter what, if you're the independent party, it doesn't matter. Like, you need to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is you know what you believe in. Like, everybody believes in something.
Right.
So find the candidate that, whatever it is you believe in most or what's most important to you, and one of the most important things you can do is vote. Because, like we just mentioned, besides dropping everything you do in your life and
starting
going
a rally,
gung-ho on a rally and starting an activist group for whatever it is you believe in, the only thing that really matters is who's voting on bills, whether it's gun, like, whatever it is, sanction laws to own cows in the town council or in the town property limits. Like whatever it is, you're not voting on them. You're
right.
voting on the people that will vote on them. So it's just as important to do that.
Or go run for office.
That's my big takeaway. That or move to Tennessee or Texas.
You're always good.
Or we should just go to Montana. You know what's in Montana?
Nothing.
Exactly.
That's true. But yeah, guys, vote. Take everything you heard from Hunter and I with a grain of salt.
Yes.
But
with more salt than you saw on Facebook.
Yeah, a little bit more salt than you saw on Facebook.
So I already saw people posting that thing like passed. It passed.
Yeah, I did see that.
I mean, it didn't pass. But
Technically. What did it pass?
yeah. So,
Nothing, but it passed.
Yeah. So be aware of stuff you see too.
Yeah.
That's another thing to take away.
But guys, that about does it. We'll see y'all next week. We appreciate everybody watching. Hopefully this podcast was entertaining.
Yeah, comment down below if we rambled too much. Because we did talk about the same thing for a while, and we didn't have nothing to talk about. Like it definitely wasn't as bad as that one podcast. But sometimes we do get in a habit. One of us will be talking, and we'll talk for like 5 minutes on the same topic. And is that boring? Is that entertaining? Like, do we drag stuff on too long? So comment down below and let us know.
I mean, we get 14 views, so.
Yeah, I mean.
14 of you guys.
But we get 14 every time.
Consistent.
So if you're a repeat, nice to see you. Thank you for watching.
Hey, Eric.
Please comment because we tell you guys every podcast to comment, and none of you do. So please, somebody comment this time. I don't care what it is. Something. Preferably tell us what you thought about the podcast and if it was fast-paced enough. But I mean, if you comment a lamb emoji, like, please, anything.
You know what? The chances of somebody's actually watching this right here is slim.
We should outro. We should say it at the beginning.
We should say it at the beginning.
Because the one time we told him to comment on Jared's stuff, that chicken guy did.
That chicken guy did. Alright. Well, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time. And as always, guys, remember, take someone outdoors. Golly.